Hello and welcome to another episode of Workplace Wizards podcast. This is episode number 17, Social Awareness of Human Behavior Styles. This is the emotional intelligence portion, one of the four components of emotional intelligence, social awareness. And it's social awareness of human behavior styles and how that affects our relationships and the way that we see other people inside of our own workplace environments. Hello, my name is Arnold Smalley, and I'm your host, along with our co-host, Gavin Wong. And I'll bring him on in just a second. But Small World Solutions, we are a consulting firm that provides highly interactive presentations to help improve your workplace environment. We specialize in the management of conflict so that organizations can increase their team cohesion, they can boost their employee morale, and most importantly, that ROI is the return on investment is higher productivity. So let's go ahead and get started and bring on Gavin Wong to the stage.
Afternoon, Arnell. That was very slick. I'm glad you got there after 17 episodes. Very good. Well done.
I see this week after episode 16. I see Gavin's now wearing a white shirt.
Had to be just to prove a point.
Just to prove a point. And what point are you trying to prove, Gav?
Well, I'm just the white. I don't know what orange collar is. Sound like quite low, but I'm up there.
All right. Anyways, so the title of our episode for today is Social Awareness of Human Behavior Styles. What does that mean to you, Gav?
Well, I think it's a really good question because, we've spoken before, but particularly around when you're at work, and I guess there's two main relationships you have as a manager. One, you've got the relationship with the people that you manage and that you lead, and understanding just what drives and their behaviours and is really important. But sometimes the more challenging is people that you work with in terms of your peers, or sometimes people you work for. And if you have a rub or don't understand them or just work in a different way, it can be quite difficult. And, I've certainly worked with people over the years who, I'll be honest, I don't like, and you've got to find a way to be professional, because if you want to achieve results, you've got to work through that, because you can't like everybody, can you? Everybody likes you, Arnell, clearly, but you can't like everybody. And that can be a challenge if and I can't say that I don't emotionally leak sometimes when I'm working with people I don't like, but you've got to find a way around it.
Okay, I hear you, Gavin. So basically, what you're saying is sometimes you have those co-workers, peers, or subordinates, or even those above you that you just completely butt heads with.
Yeah,
and most people aren't really seeing. They say, "Oh, they just think, oh, we just can't get along. We can't get along. We don't see eye to eye." And there could be a reason for that. And that reason could be they have different personality styles. So basically, their human behavior styles could be complete opposite of yours. I think I was telling you before that, I did the recruiting for special agents. I went around the country just recruiting special agents, and even all the way to Puerto Rico and all the southeastern states, doing this recruiting, trying to bring special agents on board. And I was also privy to majority of the interview process when they come in for their interviews. I was part of the panel that would do that. We'd have a senior supervisor, a mid-level supervisor, and then we usually had a street agent join us. So there'd be 4 of us on the panel. And there were several individuals that just based off of, and a lot what we do, and you've been there too, Gavin, is you start making your own judgment, your own what you think about this individual. And this is way before I was ever introduced to DISC, human behavior styles. But I still made judgments and saying, okay, I think this person will be a fit. And then I think, oh no, I don't think this person will be a fit. And I used those judgments and had to base everything off of what I viewed during this interview process. So when I seen an individual, or when I saw an individual that didn't check all the boxes that I would think would make a good agent, I was adamant about, hey, I don't think that this person is going to be a correct fit. However, there were several that we hired anyways. And then on some occasions, you could see how the problems I had introduced during that interview phase end up becoming problems during work. But then again, there was an individual I can remember a female agent that I did not, give high scores for. Matter of fact, said that she should not be hired. End up becoming one of our best agents. End up
Mm.
becoming one of the greatest producing agents on the force. And here's what happened: she had that personality style, and that to me didn't fit the special agent category. However, when she joined the agency, she became involved with another agent who was the complete opposite of her.
Yeah.
And when they worked together, they gelled so well that they were so highly productive because she complimented him, he complimented her, and they both just became the dynamic duo in our region. So there goes to show that just because I don't think, or just because you may not think, or just because somebody else may not think that this person is a great fit, they could still be superstars.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a few things there. One is that there is a lot of research to say that actually the interview processes aren't that accurate in terms of identifying the right person for the job, because of those things that you mentioned, our subconscious biases, all that kind of stuff. So that's interesting. I think the thing about you mentioned about DISC assessments is because, although I said there's people I've never hated anybody, but there's some people you like further than others, and I've worked better with some people than others, but hopefully hasn't been completely obvious to everybody else or people that work for me, because you do try and kind of work around that. And the approach I've always taken is to kind of try and accept that we're just different. What I didn't realize is probably that some of that science behind it. What I didn't really, although I kind of managed that and just accept that we were different and just had different priorities, I never really framed it behind something like DISC. And actually now understanding DISC, that would have been far more powerful for me to understand how I could have got the better out of other people and how they could have got the best out of me as well, because it works both ways, doesn't it? And
Yes.
so I think one of the things is about understanding that self-reflection and assessment is really important, not just to yourself in terms of wanting to develop, but understanding how you can work with other people, because we're all different. We all have something to offer, and you can, as you say with that example of that agent, you get the right people together and understand each other, you can be really quite powerful. So I think that's a really good example.
Yes, that is true.
So have you, so in terms of the DISC profiling, would you have used that differently in your work, I guess, going back in the day?
Man, Gavin, I'm telling you right now, not only with my work, if I had known what I know now, being certified DISC trainer, I wish I could go all the way back to high school and just understanding people and just their behavior styles, the way they are and the way they act and what motivates them, because that's the thing. People and managers in particularly, and what we do for HR personnel, the reason why we do this Workplace Wizards is to help HR personnel deal with their issues and problems at work. And I'm gonna tell you right now, had I known DISC back in the day, I may have been able to relate a little bit better to you.
Yeah, you certainly needed that. You certainly needed that self-awareness back in the day.
Is that what I needed? So, but no, I have to admit that, and you may be able to relate to this or not, but I know that when I was in law enforcement for 25 years in law enforcement, it was when I was out on the streets enforcing, it was my way or the highway.
Yes.
And I think we had spoke about it in one of the other episodes, how we didn't take into consideration a lot of what anybody else had to say or what they did. And I didn't care. I didn't even care about your behavior style.
Yeah.
I didn't try to appease you. I tried to get a job done. And I guess that was that straight D in me. This being dominant and being, being that strong-willed and productive. I just want to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I didn't take into consideration the way other
Mm.
people felt and stuff. So I
Mm.
treated, I wouldn't say I treated people bad, but I treated people to satisfy my
Yes.
desires.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Instead of
That
saying,
makes
okay,
perfect sense. Yeah.
how do we
Yeah.
collaborate and work together
Yes.
and solve this? And I think with DISC and my self-awareness and this emotional intelligence that I've learned now,
Yeah.
you could just treat every single situation in a better context
Yes.
because of the knowledge that you have by becoming more emotional intelligent and having some understanding of human behavior styles. And
Yeah.
that's where Small World and Gavin and Arnell can help you with this DISC trainings and help you become social aware, self-aware, social aware, and deal with situations that arise at work.
I think, I mean, the law enforcement analogy is really quite interesting, because you kind of feel that people who join law enforcement are going to be almost high C's, really compliant, SOPs, all that kind of stuff, the rules. But actually, that's just not the case. Yes, there are some
Right.
people like that in policing or law enforcement, but many are high D's like you. Some are high S's, high I. All we have a whole mixture, and therefore, particularly when performance is quite important, because you're spending public money essentially, so you want to give a service back to the community and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. But actually, how you get there is all different, and you need to understand that so you can identify how to motivate people in your teams in particular. And I think, because not everybody's just worried about results. Some people just want to know that they are, well, whatever it may be, are just doing the right thing because they're compliant. Some people just want to be able to just be heard and give some praise because they're like
Right.
high eyes, all that kind of stuff. Really important. I think
But
it's
you said it.
fascinating.
You said it. Some people just want to be valued.
Yes.
And want to
Yes.
and want to be understood that, hey,
Yes.
the work that they're doing to contribute to this
Yes.
is
Yes.
being accepted and valued and
Yes.
appreciated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
was that individual that I spoke about was she found somebody who valued her work.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And they worked together because he valued her work, she valued his work, and they worked together and they gelled and became, like I said, a dynamic duo.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people just or not a lot of people, but there are some that are looking for just that, to be.
And I think
understood.
sometimes it's interesting. I think one of those things is that one is we do some of this stuff naturally, but we don't understand why it works. Understanding those frameworks around DISC profiles or whatever profiles you're going to use is really crucial. What would be interesting about that, those agents that got together, what would be interesting in their life, what happened when they got they separated in roles, because they probably weren't together throughout the whole career together. So it'd be interesting to see how they interacted with other people with different profiles, and actually if they weren't complementary, what they did to resolve that. And that it'd be interesting to kind of that.
I retired before I ever seen them separate, but I'm sure because of the self-awareness that they or self-regulation that they received from the other person, they learned a lot in the process.
Yes.
So with that being said, we gotta end this. We can't give all our insights away on one episode. So this is us saying goodbye. We enjoyed you visiting and checking out our podcast, Workplace Wizards Podcast. And if you want to reach us for further information, or just like or follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, and give a shout out and let us know how we're doing, and let us know if there's something that you would like to speak about. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach me at 754-971-7007, or you can reach me on my email at asmalley@smallworldsolutions.net. So Gavin, I appreciate your insights for today, and we're going to have to say goodbye to everybody.
Bye-bye.